Hi Stampers, my name is Sandy Hancock. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today is Monday, September the 2nd, Labor Day, and this is going to be part 3, my final part of showing you all of the different patterns that come in the Splendid Autumn 6x6 DSP. That is on page 37 in your holiday catalog. You can turn there and see all 12 of the prints. So there are 4 of each prints. 4 of each, 12 different prints, so 48 cards you could make out of here. And I am literally going to make 48 cards because I have used every single design. I just love them all. So today I'm going to make 2 cards and then I'm going to show you 3 or 4 more cards after that. All right, so this is the first one we're going to make, and this is the pattern that I'm using, the sheet of DSP. Now my friend said it's either French lace or baby's breath, and I'm not really sure, so I'm just going to call it French lace. You can call it whatever you want. And here is, I'm just going to put the card there. And when I got started with this, okay, let me give you the, okay, so here are the dimensions. The pieces of DSP are 5 1/8 by 1 7/8. Let me do it this way so you can take a picture if you want to. 5 1/8 by 1 7/8, and you're going to do that 2 times. The white is 5 1/4 by 4, and actually you're going to do that 2 times also. Okay, so we'll just put that there. Put this here. All right, now the first thing I did is I just cut off 2 inches from the right side. So it's exactly the same piece of paper, it's minus 2 inches. And because I'm going to use 1 1/4 of that, in fact, I already have, to put it into the inside. Oh, well, I haven't mounted it yet, okay. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do with the rest of this piece, we're gonna cut it down to this. So I'm gonna get my cutter. All right, so we want it to be 5 1/8 inches long. So that's going to be 5 plus 2 little lines. I'm going to cut that off first. I can throw that away. And then we want 2 pieces that are 1 7/8. So this is going to be 2 little lines right before 2. There's our first piece. And then our second piece is going to be 2 little lines before 1 7/8. Make sure that's looking straight. Okay, there we go. Actually, this doesn't look straight. I hope this is straight. Okay. All right, so let's start putting this together. So we're using Balmy Blue, and like you can see, the white is 5 1/4 by 4, so we're going to put this on the front of the card. I'm using Dotto, which is what I normally use. The company used to sell it, and I just happen to love it because I can change my mind a minute from now or a year from now. Okay, so now we've got our 2 pieces. We want to make sure, yes, that we get them on the correct way, right? Okay. All right, so I'm going to put the first one on, just leaving a little bit. That looks pretty good. All right, now let's put the second piece on. Okie dokie, come on there, people. So you can kind of get it to the same place, maybe. Well, I think that's good enough. Okay, here we go. So when I got this far, because I mean, seriously, looking at this is a lot of flour, isn't it? It's like, okay, what am I gonna do to cut this down and make it look pretty? Pretty on a card. It is already beautiful. And so that's when I decided to do the panels, because that gives it a little break. And then I was thinking, what am I going to do for the center? So that's when I pulled out, again, the Greetings of the Seasons dies, and I've already pulled these out. These are the two that I'm using. So this blue one is going to be the banner. These all have holes in them because they're actually meant to cut out greetings. So they're assuming that you're going to put a little piece of ribbon in there. So this is an arrow, and I'm just going to put it down the center. You always want, I want the hole up. Theoretically, this should go on there. That doesn't look like it's in the center. There we go. Okay, now we're cooking. All right, so now it's centered. And then for the greeting, I'm going to be using Happy Birthday out of my So Sincere set. Let me move that out of the way. And I'm going to take the Balmy Boo pad. And the reason I'm using the Stamparatus is because when I stamped it just one time, it just wasn't dark enough. So if you don't have a Stamparatus, you probably have some other type of, what do you call this? Apparatus, I don't know. 2 times, I think 2 times are enough. I'm gonna do it 3 times. Yes, okay, it looks really, really good. After I stamped it once, I knew for sure that it was gonna need to be stamped more than once to be dark enough for me to be happy. Okay, so now I'm taking this die. Again, I'm making sure that the little hole from Greetings of the Season, and that, by the way, is online. Greetings of the Season. Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure this is really nice and straight, which it's not. Come on, people. All right, maybe that's straight. And then I would put another one down here and then go cut it out. For now, I've already cut it out. So I'm gonna put it on. I'll put the hole for this right over the hole for that. Just like, whoops, come on. Just like that, I think that's even. And then I'm going to take a rhinestone. Initially when I did this, I tried putting a little bit of silver, not ribbon, silver, whatever you call that, silver cording through it, and it really did not look good at all. This is a medium size rhinestone, which I think looks a little better than a big one. Okay, so now I'm going, all right, I still need something else to fill up this card. And that's when I thought, okay, I think butterflies might be perfect. Okay, so the butterfly I used is this one here from Sketch Butterflies, right there. And so I want to just remind you that you really, if you want this to come out the easiest possible, take wadded up, what is this paper called? Wax paper, and just go over it like this. And it really, really does make a difference at how easily everything comes out. When I use wax paper, the butterfly literally just falls out. And then the little pieces are really easy to get out. And then it's a good idea to use the wax paper each time, because the second time that I cut out the second butterfly, I didn't reuse the wax paper, and it wasn't quite as easy to get the little parts out. So I happen to have, let me show you what I have. I happen to have this silver sparkle paper. Now this is something that Stampin' Up! Used to carry. I don't think it's really current right now. So you can use silver paper and it will still be just beautiful. Like, okay, come on, silver butterfly would be just beautiful. It's just that I happen to love sparkles and I have it. So I'm going to use it. So if you don't have the sparkle, just simply use the plain silver. Then I'm going to get my glue dots, and these go on so nicely with a glue dot. So the first one is going to just, the wing will go right in there between the Y and the B of the birthday. The second one is going to go to the left here, like that. And then the third one, we need to cover up some of this space down here because it's too much space. So I'm just going to come down like this, and that looks really nice. Okay, then let's go back and pick up some more rhinestones, because even though these are sparkly, I still think the rhinestones look so pretty on them. So we're just going to put 2 on each butterfly, and we're almost done. We just have to do something for the inside. Okay, so there we go, butterflies. Now inside I have another piece of cardstock that is this size, 5 1/4 by 4. And that first piece of 2-inch DSP that I cut off, I cut, normally lately I've been cutting 1 inch, but this is so pretty. I decided, I'm gonna change this. I decided that I would do 1 1/4 inch. So let's just place it along this side. Looks like it's a teeny bit too long, so I'm just going to trim it with my scissors. There we go. All right. So when you open your card, this will be a really nice surprise for whoever gets it. And we'll just put this inside. Okay, so we're done. So pretty easy. If you don't have the greetings of the season, I think you can just cut cardstock to put down the center if you like the look of it. But I just happen to love these dies, and since I have them, I'm going to use them. Okay, so this is card number 1. All right, card number 2 is going to be this card. And let me show you. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. All right, so here we go. The dimensions for this card are these. Normally our card is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. This one is cut 7 1/2 by 5 1/2 because this part of the card right there is missing. Okay. And then, but you still score it at 4 1/4, just like you normally would. The DSP is going to be 3 inches by 5 1/4, and then this little panel is 1 inch by 5 1/4. Okay, then I'll put that there. And if you notice, I didn't cut anything off the top because I love all of that Cajun craze and crushed curry that's coming through, maybe even some daffodil alight, I don't know. So I'm going to cut off the bottom. And it's going to need to be 5 1/4. Let's see, inside steel. I can cut the whole thing at 5 1/4. Okay, so let's do that first. Go 5 1/4. And this part we're not going to need. Okay, so now I'm going to cut my first piece at 3 inches. Then I'm going to keep going for the next piece, which is going to be 1 inch. Right there. Oops, don't move it, Sandy. Okay, let's try that again. 1 inch is right here, right there. There we go. And then this we aren't going to need. Okay. All right, now I'm going to get out my scorer, simply scored. So this is 7 1/2 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to score it 4 1/4, just like we normally do. Then I'm going to fold, use my bone folder to get a nice fold. Okay. All right, so our 3 inch piece of DSP is going to go right on the front. Like this. Okay, then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a piece of white inside. this. And then that little 1-inch strip is just going to go right onto here. So let's, I'm going to put it right along the edge so that the pattern, whoops, not quite. We want the pattern to just flow. Okay. Isn't that gorgeous? It just flows right across like that. It's so beautiful. I'm going to do this one more time. Okay. Now, for the inside, for the greeting, what I used is some dies from Unbounded Love. I used this one and this one. I actually did not use any greetings from Unbounded Love for this particular card because I wanted to use just Love Spending Time With You. And that is from my set, So Sincere. So I'm going to get the Azure Afternoon Pad. Just Love Spending Time With You. Ink her up. Ooh, that looks good. Okay. Then again, we're just going to put the small piece here. And I would just tape it down. And go cut it out, which I have already done. Okay. So now this is the larger piece. It fits right on in such a neat way. Okay, so just Love Spending Time With You. Is that good? All right, now this is going to fit right here on the side. So I'm just going to run some adhesive down the very edge of this. And then just place it so that there's still some DSP showing. There we go. All right, then for decoration, I'm using Ombre Matte Decorative Dots. So you can see they go progressively darker as you go that direction. So I'm going to use the lightest ones. And I'm going to put them right here. Oops, I didn't pull it out far enough. Here we go. Hello, come on. Oh, seriously. Don't you love it when this happens? Okie dokie. There we go. All right. Now, I didn't put a third dot up there because I don't know. I just didn't think it was going to look quite right. So what did I do with my... I'm almost always calling these the birds and bees, but it's the birds and dragonflies. Okay, so we're going to put a bird here. And we're going to put a little birdie here. Is that good? Yeah. And I think I'm just going to count that as my third 1, 2, 3. I don't know. 3 on here was just too many for me. So there you go. It's just a really simple card and very, very colorful and beautiful. So that is card number 2. Okay. Now, card number 3. Let me find it. Oh, great. I just dumped it on the floor. Okay. Card number 3 is made out of this piece of gorgeous designer paper. And here's the card I made. And you saw me make this type of card last week when I made the sunflowers. So if you don't know how to do it, go back and watch part 2 of the Splendid Autumn series, and you'll see exactly how to make this card. Just very quickly, what I did is I used Highland Heather. So you cut off the corners. So I'm just going to remind you. Let me see. I'm using these Countryside corners. I took the largest 2, taped them together, and then on this Highland Heather, if you didn't see the video, you're just placing it on the corner and cutting it. placing it on the corner and cutting it. It makes it very easy to cut out. And then you want to do that first, then run it through the embossing folder. This happens to be the painted texture embossing folder. And then I cut out 2 fresh freesia frames. So it takes a quarter of a piece of cardstock. You can always save the inside and use it for something else later. So on this one, I think I stacked probably 4 frames because I really wanted it to be dominant, looking more dominant. This one doesn't need to look so dominant because there's such a nice contrast between the Highland Heather and the fresh freesia. So, but you're going to take 2 of these and mount them there. And then what I did is, okay, you'll notice when this cuts out, oh, and I was going to just say, you know, put this anywhere you want on the designer paper. You could move it up and include the tree, but for this paper, personally, I just love all the purple flowers. So I just wanted the flowers. So the piece here is the piece that's cut out here. And then the little piece that's cut out as the border, put that away. The border is the one I put, this time I put it inside. Isn't that a nice surprise? I just think it's really fun. So whoever gets this card at some point is going to be surprised when they open it up. Okay, so that's card number 3. And let me just put these out. Card number 2, card number 1. I think you can still see that. Okay, so what's next? All right, so the next one is this print. This to me is a sunset, and I think it's really beautiful, but again, I'm thinking, oh my word, what do I do with it? And so I decided that I was going to use the same die that I used last week, not yesterday, on my video. It's out of Changing Leaves. No, not Changing Leaves. It's out of the Citrus bundle. And so I showed you how to put it on each corner. And I tried to figure out, you know, what in the world am I going to put on the front? And I just ended up using Dear Friend. It's out of the Autumn Expressions set because I wanted something small so that most of the print was actually going to be what shows. And then inside, again, here I put 1¼ inch. I'm not sure I would do that again. Maybe 1 inch would be enough, so you have a little bit more room to write. So Dear Friend, this could be any kind of a card. And as a friend of mine and I were talking, she said, you know, that would make a really pretty sympathy card. So I got With Sympathy. This time I did use the Unbounded Love. I used this With Sympathy card, and I used this die for the outside, this die for the inside, and I put it on the front. And it was just too big. To me, it really distracted from the beauty of the picture. So then what I decided to do was put Dear Friend, and I put the 2 dies inside With Sympathy. And this is stamped in Gorgeous Grape. You're in My Heart and Prayers is in So Sincere. And that also is stamped in Gorgeous Grape. So either way, I think these are really pretty cards. Okay, so that's that print. And then the last print, again, you know, okay, it's a really pretty print, but I'm thinking, what in the world am I going to do with it? Well, I decided to do exactly the same thing I did on the previous card. So I took the die from Citrus bundle, having to think about that, just made exactly the same card. And I think it, you know, I thought about not using the trees, but I think they really add a lot to this particular print. And the thank you, I forgot to look. I think that's, I'm changing, or let me see if that's in Citrus Blooms. Nope, I'm not sure. I'm so sorry. I had it out and I put it away. It's in one of the ones, it's one of the new ones. But you can put anything you want on there, of course. And then the glass, faux glass, little dots really add to it and kind of finish it off. So here you go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 more cards made, and now you've seen every print, all 12 prints from the Splendid Autumn, and they are available to order tomorrow, Tuesday. And you can either stay up until 11:01 if you're on the West Coast and order them, or if you're on some other coast, just figure out the time. I know my friend on the East Coast is going to get up at 1:01 and put her order in. I have a feeling that this paper is going to fly off the shelves because it is so beautiful. So if you're interested in getting it, please consider putting an order in on Tuesday. All right, thank you so much for joining me. I'll look forward to having you next time.